Obviously, I won't be making better use of this outfit on my forehead here. I got this so that I could be comparatively hands-free. Actually, of course, it's not exactly that. It's that I will be using my hands for something else, something entirely unobjectionable in some ways. In terms of technology, um, I don't think that I'll be doing anything like some have. Nor will I be in this room for some of that. I wish that, I could get a haircut or give myself a haircut uh, that would somewhat attenuate the impression that I'm a piece of trash, ostensibly. I can't do much if I open my mouth and say something, but at least if I keep my mouth shut, if I had better clothes to wear, if I were better groomed, I wouldn't. I don't expect I would, you know, be in such dire straits as I seem to be now. But this is the GoPro 11 Black, and at long last I've got what I need to use for a few things. Probably more for email than something else, but there being little interest in the past and little access to the past, all I can think of is how the camera should be pointed forward, and I should keep looking up and to see what I might in one place or another. For example, if I'm going to use the that contraption to walk down the hall all the way to the front door, then something like this on my head would offer, uh, a different view, one that I'm not prepared to edit in any fancy way between cameras or anything. Um, but this is something I don't do too often. That is slightly more saturation with the camera. And I've been blathering for about 3.5 minutes. And I can tell you, I recommend, for those of you who are interested, there are many cameras that are more lightweight and have many more features than the GoPro. The GoPro has, I think, been eclipsed in terms of some of the options. One of the most commanding options is to have far less weight anywhere on one's head or in one's pocket or on a pole or tripod or anything. There's some very, featherweight, you might say, cameras that can stream directly to a cell phone, presuming you're not in the gutter with me, having things stolen routinely. You have enough memory on your phone to take advantage of some of the easy uploads from camera to a trusty old-fashioned phone. Recently, though, I don't know how I hadn't looked at anything, but some people were offering some really good bargains, I thought, at first, in terms of Nikon and Canon cameras they tout as, being tailored to appeal to making important recordings by bloggers or vloggers, you know, Nikon and Canon mirrorless cameras stripped down to the bone, and with a, you know, maybe one lens that is more or less what you'd expect. Way too much to pay, you know. I'd want a better lens option for something beyond, you know, some indoor tripod arrangement. But anyway, the push is for some people to get into the business of very important footage. It's funny to see what they seem to need. I will say, though, that Robert has one hell of a good camera. I forgot. He told me what it was. I've forgotten. It's an excellent camera, I think, in terms of the results that he gets. But he didn't fall for one of these stripped-down versions, you know. Of course, if one wants to narrow one's use to more or less what those cameras can easily do, then, hey, you know, it's the kind of camera you could leave in your room and then take something else when you want to do anything else. But anyway, I'm not in that league, and I'm doing this more or less to kill time. You know, maybe it would be better if I had some other equipment like this, something similar. Now this has a foot on it, you know, I don't know if you can see, right here, oops, right here on top, there's a standard foot where someone could put a very lightweight LED lamp, maybe with a power supply not mounted up there, even more weight like that, but an LED lamp can easily be put right there. And then, you know, someone like me could what? Go looking for canaries of all kinds in mine shafts or smokestacks or maybe where I ought to look next would be some of the underground plumbing facilities. I seem to be in something like that from time to time. Only it's not the same as having the right equipment like they do in Pennsylvania to pump things out and grow healthy corn. There's stunted corn growing in Alabama, but it doesn't make much sense to grow corn in Alabama, really. Although there are government programs for that, you know. There are government programs for almost anything, and oh God, such a shame to think of missed opportunities. You know, all kinds of things have opportunity costs, you know. I'm still waiting for the Rust Belt to be employed building light rail. They just won't do it. Meanwhile, I'm reading sometimes about tremendous new prohibitions against certain imported vehicles. It's one thing after another. And something that, you know, they talk about, bring home the chip industry. Yeah, right, okay. Next somebody will say, well, we'll start grinding lenses like they used to do. Like they do in Asia or even Europe sometimes. What do people do in America? There's a lot of malarkey about all that. Um, Final assembly of a lot of things that I won't be able to talk about, obviously. But that's the rub. Final assembly is a far cry from what happens because of labor costs. The bootstrapping that can be done is not being done. Um, I'm impassive about a lot of the stuff people talk about. And now that, things were in the doldrums of another sour deepening of the swamp of Stockholm Syndrome ruminations. Now we have another wave of sanctimony, and that's understandable. I think people may be trying to avoid some of the usual techniques that people fall into. Uh, but I don't know. I think the jury's out. Meanwhile, I hardly leave the room. Of course, now with the heat wave again, the air conditioner in the building is going full blast. And that means it's wintertime in my room, and I have a jacket on. I'd rather be cold than hot. I can put on something, to ward off the chills. And of course, I know that particularly the main room uh, has to have a blast of cold air to stay comfortable, and that means some of the bedrooms, with the regulated airflow unadjusted, it doesn't pan out like it could if they had a technician balance things out. But I don't mind. That is certainly the least of my worries. I would far prefer that somebody do something about the hot water supply, which is feeble indeed. When I think of the hot water here, it's so discouraging, to have really just lukewarm, hardly enough to offset the air conditioning, and it kind of reminds me of the lukewarm intellects that take up too much of my time one way or another. But having been thrown under the bus, I've kind of glazed over now. I'm really worn out, and I have become more and more stupid. I can tell. I can tell that I am literally more and more stupid every day. Maybe that's a blessing, because there's no need to be smart. In a place like this. Well, it's almost 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. on Sunday, I think it's the 14th. Let me look. I'm not sure. Yeah. Sunday, September 14th. Almost 1 o'clock. 2025. Time doesn't really matter much. I know sometimes this air conditioning will be like this until after dark, before it generally doesn't have to cool down wherever the thermostat is. I think it's in the main room. When that tends to cool off, then it'll shut off and I can take my coat off. Those are the kinds of events that, I guess it's fair to say the clock on the wall there that you might see, it's the Mickey Mouse clock I can't see it from the chair I'm sitting in. It was put there by your genius on the scene so that it could be seen from somewhere else in the room. Uh, but anyway, it was put up there without a battery in it and a smart mode. And, well, really, you can talk to some of these smart people about what time is or isn't, and maybe they'll inform any number of people of what's happening here.